This episode of DDO Players News is brought to you by the Easy Roller Dice Company. Check out the brand new Kickstarter for the Elite Metal Dice of the Elven Kind. 7 and 11 piece sets are available. This is a new series of high-end precision CNC aluminum dice featuring some unique color blends and the hand-drawn brand new one-of-a-kind Elven Kind font. Check out the Kickstarter now. Several colors available. They are working on a stretch goal for a brand new color as well. It's going to unlock at $24,000. It is the powder blue. Several other colors have already unlocked. This Kickstarter is, of course, fully funded, so now is your chance to jump on. You can check it out at easyrollerdice.com/DDO. And once again, a big thank you to the fine folks over at the Easy Roller Dice Company for bringing you this episode of DDO Players.
Good day, everyone. This is Polyp Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news at DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculata.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are things coming along in Barovia?
Meh.
Well, considering the way the world events have been lately, I would think meh is a step up.
Okay, there's that. I mean, sure.
I know that's that's condemning with faint praise.
I mean, is there ever a good day in Barovia? That's,
Well, you've got a point there. It's in some ways this world does feel like Barovia sometimes lately.
Well, that's true.
You can't go anywhere.
Now that you say that, I think we're all living in Barovia right now.
Yes, Barovia has invaded. We now know that's why vampires need all of those bats to breed new plagues.
See, okay, Pineleaf. You're figuring stuff out too quickly.
Then we better go into the normal news for this week.
We're gonna need a cease and desist on you because, Ixay on the Batsay.
Yes. Then let's head into the news for this week. And it looks like there's a little problem with the orchard.
A little bit. That is if you want to actually play in the orchard.
Oops.
Because you really can't play as much in the orchard. You can go out and enjoy the laggy slideshow that you're presented as you're running around the orchard. Yeah, the orchard's broke. It's broken beyond all brokenness right now. This happened after the patch that they did for the physics engine. Cordovan did say the issue with the orchard, as he understands it, has to do with the age of that wilderness area and it being built slightly different than most other wilderness areas, which has caused it to have been particularly impacted by the physics issue that they are working to correct. Their intention is to get a fix out yet this week. This was posted today, actually, on 4/20. So a fix is being looked at. So hopefully that will be fixed. Because reading through the forums, it looks like it's pretty much an unplayable broken mess at this point right now.
I suspect that whatever happened to the orchard then might be one of the reasons why on the Lotros side they decided not to deploy the physics engine update last week.
Oh, could be.
Right, because it originally was scheduled to come out last week, but when the patch actually came out, they did not include the physics engine changes. Just the...
Oh, yeah, it must be, because I wonder if they have some areas that are built similarly to how the orchard wilderness area is put together.
I don't know. Maybe
could be
Old Forest.
Maybe. It's hard to say, but yeah, interesting. Okay, I didn't realize they didn't include the physics engine, quote unquote, fix on the Lotro side. Interesting.
And they do think they might be able to get it out this week because they are expecting an update this week. I think at the very least the physics engine fix, maybe the anniversary event stuff, and then maybe even a full game update. We'll have to see what happens then. But we are talking about DDO here, not about Lotro. So let's head into the next thing. And looks like they want to get people into Thelanis.
It's the new default server, apparently. Every once in a while, they do rotate what the default server is. And all that we mean when we say default server is if you are a new player and you create an account, or actually you're getting ready to create an account and you see the list of worlds, Thelanis is going to show up first because that is the recommended world to create a character on. Used to be Orion, however you want to pronounce it. Before that, it was Kenneth at one point. And then it became Orion, and then now apparently it's Thelanis. But the most interesting thing about this that I found is in the thread where people were talking about when they discovered, hey, look, Thelanis is now the default server. Somebody said, I'm glad SSG is spreading the love around because it was getting crazy laggy in Orion's Harbor. That said, it seems Wayfinder always has by far the smallest server population at any given moment. So why don't they give some needed love? Oh, Wayfinder. Cordovan chimed in and said, we were very seriously considered making Wayfinder the recommended world this time around. Oh, Wayfinder. But there is a piece of hardware environment that is somewhat scaled to Wayfinder's lower population, so making it a default world could have had serious repercussions, and reconfiguring the hardware environment wasn't time feasible given our other priorities, game performance issues, getting update 46 ready, etc. So they were seriously considering making the lovely little Wayfinder the recommended server.
So sound like to me I was giving myself some problems when I chose Orion for my Borderlands test.
Well, maybe it's one of the more populated servers because it was the default server.
Right.
If you ever want to go on a server where there's no people, go to Wayfinder. You might see me there every once in a while. I wander around, and then if I do see another person, I'm like, oh my god, there's another player.
Yeah, I think the reason why I didn't do it on Wayfinder was because I think on Wayfinder I already had some characters, so I had chosen a server where I had never played before, so I would have a clean slate of characters.
Oh, gotcha.
Slots.
That makes sense. So anyway, welcome to everybody to Thelanis if you're a new player. I mean, I don't play on Thelanis, but welcome anyway.
And anyway, the low-level areas probably aren't going to be too populated in the next couple of weeks on
probably not.
On Orion, so therefore I'll be able to do my Borderlands stuff there.
There you go.
Let's then head into our weekly chronicle, where it looks like this looks like the updated Cerulean Hills.
That was going to be my guess.
Yes, because I was just there this last week, so it looks very familiar.
Because I kind of stepped in there just once to see what they did, and I'm like, yeah. And then I seen this header for the Chronicle, and I'm like, that looks like the Cerulean Hills, but not quite sure.
Well, the next update's going to be in the Cerulean Hills, so...
See, makes sense. See, they're all pointing towards update 46. That's right. In our community spotlights of our 378, see, I'm taking Chronicles away. 378th Chronicle. Matrim has put together an up-to-date character planner, including the Alchemist. So if you want to plan out a character, click over to find the latest DDO builder, which I have to admit, I have not messed with that yet. I want to do that. Next time I start a new character for something, I'm going to use the DDO builder, because I hear it is amazingly awesome. Also in the community spotlight, Gaming SF is a longtime DDO blogger who writes about life in DDO. Click over at the link and check out the WordPress blog to see all of their blogs. In the fan site news section, DDO Cast is continuing its review of Update 45. Click or listen to the latest DDO Cast episode. We had the latest info from the game and more, apparently, in our last episode. DDO Stream is your first stop for DDO on Twitch. Recent shows by DDO PL, Brock and Friends, and Doug Glendower, and more, so check it out. Also, over on Twitch, lots of people twitching DDO. Strim Tom takes a day. Samus gets the XPs. And Voodoo Spice has morning coffee in chat. Coffee. YouTube also, plenty of people making DDO videos. Dirty William welcomes Ren. Lynn Vander runs Temple of Evil, and MJ crashes a party. And don't forget about Mickey and her rating. She's writing about raids. Who would have guessed? Click over for Mickey's raid talk. We got a Chronicle comic, Pine Leaf, as we always do.
Mm-hmm.
This week's question is, what is the angriest monster?
The angriest monster. Now, my trick with this is that there are other games I play where their monster names are popping into my mind as a result of this. For example, in Eon's End, where there is a nemesis called Rageborn.
So that probably would be pretty angry.
Right. And there are a couple of mobs you meet in Lotro with the name Enraged in their title. So it's hard for me to think of, all right, what in D&D would be an angry monster? I'm trying to, okay, what monster would be? And that's the trouble. I have trouble thinking of a monster that would be by definition angry in D&D.
Well, I mean, if you want to read the question verbatim.
Yeah?
The Angry Owlbear. Because it's got angry in its name. It's the Angry Owlbear.
Okay. I guess because I just think owlbear in that case, and I didn't think there was a specific angry owlbear.
There is an angry owlbear, yes.
Yeah.
You also have, a red dragon. They're usually pretty angry.
Well, red dragons are just mean, not necessarily angry.
Well, okay. Beholders. I mean, they're usually... Then again, they might just be mean and angry. I guess it depends on your definition of angry.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So how do you define angry and then?
Let's see.
Yeah. It's a good question.
I mean, I guess it would have to be something that has a rage ability is the next thing I'm going to come up with. But see, so therefore the barbarians are the angriest monsters.
Well, there you go. Okay. The answer of the question, a barbarian. When it's raging. We'll move on to something maybe we can figure out a little easier, and that is the screenshot of the week. This week it is from Athena, who is loitering in the marketplace. That is the 459th DDO screenshot of the week. Thanks to Athena for sending that screenshot in. That is a pretty cool little screenshot.
Yeah. It says Antha on my screen.
Oh, okay, sure, whatever. Athena, Antha, it's all the same thing. Tomato, tomato.
Add an extra syllable.
Potato. Okay, at this point, it's well established I pronounce names wrong. It's what I do on the podcast. We all know that by now. And Pine Leaf always has to point it out, but it's fine. Move on. It's fine.
Are we done?
We're done.
Very well. Let's enter our store sales this month. And is there any madness in this one?
There is. It's Monster Madness. 25% off all monster manuals. Slayer Boost. Select pet certificates and tricks. Companion and pet renames. All at 25% off. That runs through April the 23rd. Weekly coupons. Going to get you a long-lasting stamina potion. See, I don't think there is a rage potion, but if there is, they should have made the rage potion the coupon this week, because that would have been funny. A long-lasting stamina potion. You get 5 of those. Coupon code CONBUFF, CONBUFF. Also conveniently through April the 23rd.
Let's head into what's coming in from the dungeon. And stay at home and play free D&D resources from WotC.
That's right. WotC's giving you free stuff. So go over and get the free stuff. Yeah, WotC does say, with schools closed around the world and so many people working from home right now, playing games like Dungeons & Dragons can keep you connected to friends and family while offering fun and educational material to share in our play with your kids. For younger gamers, resources to make it even easier to get into D&D are also available. At its core, D&D is about great storytelling. The game provides the framework that sparks creativity and imagination and brings people together from all walks of life to embark on epic adventures. There is an article over on DDO Players that has the link for this, but it is D&D Wizards, so that is the letter D, nd.wizards.com/remote. If you go to that website, that is where you can find all of the free stuff they are giving away. Each day at 5 p.m., they do release something new. Today, it looks like it is a D&D Adventures League adventure, so it is the full adventure for levels 5 to 10. It's called Tyranny in Flan. The thing is, you have to jump on these. These are only available for a limited time. This one is available through April the 26th for free, so you have to jump in on that. For your little ones, there is a Manticore coloring page, so they can color a Manticore. And as I said, every day at 5 p.m., there is a new material that is put up, so be sure to check back every day. Monday through Friday, I should say.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah, this is like pretty cool actually, because like I said, they usually give away D&D Adventure League stuff, coloring pages. Sometimes it's not an Adventure League, but it is a full adventure. Usually, most every day there's a coloring page. Sometimes they give away characters. Sometimes they give away other useful things to create characters or something. So it's just kind of cool that WotC's doing this. So they're going to be doing this at least for the foreseeable future until the world kind of gets back to normal. So head on over there and get some free D&D stuff. Also, they do have a page, too, that helps you if you want to learn how to play D&D online with the various virtual tabletops. They have a full resource page that lists all of the online resources and how to use said resource. Kind of cool. So good on WotC for doing that.
Now let's head into what's on the tabletop. We'll begin with Origins, and it apparently is being pushed back a few months.
This from the what took them so long to make this decision file.
How long it could take them to make negotiations with Columbus.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody knew this was coming. But yes, Origins is postponed. They didn't cancel it. They just moved it. The Game Manufacturers Association has postponed the Origins Game Fair. It was originally scheduled for June 17th through the 21st, now moved to October the 7th through the 11th, still in Columbus, Ohio. And of course, this is due to the coronavirus pandemic that is gripping the whole world at the moment.
Yes. That it's bad when they postpone the Olympics a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the GAMA executive director, John Stacy, said the decision to postpone the convention was not made lightly. The safety and well-being of the Origins community is our number one priority. Given the current health situation, we believe this is the best move for the convention to move to October. Did want to point out the dates for the new Origins conflicts with New York Comic-Con. So that's going to be interesting for some of the exhibitors, because some of the exhibitors also exhibit at New York Comic-Con. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Aha.
And maybe some people had planned to go to New York Comic Con. Now they have to pick, do I go to that or do I go to Origins? But mainly I think exhibitors are going to have the issue with that, but we'll see. Which I'm just kind of impressed they could actually move the whole convention, because to actually get the convention center again this year is amazing, because I think usually convention centers are booked well in advance. So, I mean, good on them for actually finding a date that worked for the Columbus Convention Center.
I know. I saw an announcement for one convention that was scheduled to be in Paris this summer in August, and they just announced that they are canceling this year's convention and that next year's is going to be, and then they decided to have next year's at Paris. So they wanted to make sure that they would be able to get that all aligned before announcing it and all that stuff. They made a big promise that they would have the convention this year in Paris, and say, okay, how are we going to do this without breaking our promise? That is, because that's the sort of the things that you've got there. All this stuff you got to line up before you do your announcement, because you not only have to cancel the thing, but you have to tell them what you're going to do in response to the cancellation.
Exactly.
Now, let's go into some Trivial Pursuit Horror Ultimate Edition.
This is so amazing. This is like, oh my God, just shut up and take my money right now. This is amazing.
It's amazing.
Pine Leaf. Do you think you're the biggest horror fan? Have you been there since the beginning of the horror genre? Do you know every horror icon inside and out?
No.
Well, this is not aimed at you, Pine Leaf. Clearly. Clearly not a Pine Leaf release. Yes, Trivial Pursuit, the Horror Ultimate Edition is coming. This, of course, from, you guessed it, the Op. Players will be put through vigorous challenges, and survival skills are needed if you want to come out of the game unscathed and embarrassment-free. 6 terrifying categories await you. You must depend on your skill along with some luck if you wish to make it out alive. Your categories you're going to have to answer questions in are gore and disturbing, yes please, psychological, monster, paranormal, killer, and comedy. You're going to get 1 custom game board, 6 custom movers. These are a doll head, a straitjacket, a monster hand, a cleaver in the brain, a table saw, and a goat head. This plays just like regular Trivial Pursuit, other than it's all horror themed, and it's amazing. Pine Leaf's not impressed. This is available for ages 17 and above. Can be played by 2 to 6 players. It is going to be available at your friendly local game store for $49.99 when it releases this fall. See, so when I get this, I think we're going to have a new segment on the show. It's going to be Pine Leaf answers a horror Trivial Pursuit question. I think that will be a fun segment to add to the show.
Wanting to show how little I know about horror, I guess.
Pine Leaf doesn't think so, but I think it would be fun. So look for this coming from the Op this fall. Trivial Pursuit, the Horror Ultimate Edition. This looks amazing. The player pieces are the most amazing part.
Let's then go and see what's on the book page. We talked a little bit earlier about a conflict between Origins and New York Comic Con, but what about San Diego Comic Con?
Well, there is no San Diego Comic-Con. For the first time in 50 years, it has been canceled.
Mm-hmm. And what canceled it 50 years ago?
They started 50 years ago.
Oh, they started 50 years ago. Okay.
So, therefore, the first time in 50 years, it's been canceled. Yeah, it's, yeah.
Right. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
It's, I was saying, well, I mean, why in the world would they have canceled
right.
it for let's see, back in 1970?
Finally, like, what happened in 1970 that made them cancel that? Yeah, no, it started 50 years ago. This was going to be the 50th anniversary, and coronavirus strikes again. They did say extraordinary times require extraordinary measures, and while we are saddened to take this action, we know it's the right decision. We eagerly look forward to the time when we can all meet again and share in the community we all love and enjoy. That was from David Glanzer of San Diego Comic-Con. Individuals and exhibitors that have paid for Comic-Con 2020 will be able to request a full refund, or you can roll your payment over to the 2021 show. Hotel reservations that were made through the official travel service, which is called On Peak, will be canceled and refunded. Along with this announcement of San Diego Comic-Con, also WonderCon was canceled as well. That was coming up this next weekend, I think, is when it was scheduled. So it got canceled. The new dates, San Diego, let's try that again. The new dates for San Diego Comic-Con are July 22nd through the 25th, 2021. And WonderCon is April 10th through the 12th, 2021.
And we all hope that the whole virus thing is at least greatly mitigated by then.
Let's hope. I mean, it has to be, right? But as I said...
Well, remember, Spanish flu was 3 years.
Well, way to be a downer, Tiny. Way to be Debbie Downer. Let's just bring up the Spanish flu and how horrible it was. As my friends and I were talking about this weekend, at this point, the writing has to be on the wall for Gen Con, right? I mean, yeah. Gen Con can't happen this year, right? I mean, it can't.
Well, I mean, they have to prepare all their Gen Can't things.
There's a lot of Gen Can't going to be happening this year, because I'm pretty sure all of us are going to be Gen Canters this year.
Well, but I have a feeling then that the people at Minecraft are going to be happy that they went to an online convention a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure anybody that does virtual conventions are like, see, this is the way to go. So yeah, no San Diego Comic-Con. So as far as I know, at least geek-related, nerd geek-wise, tabletop board gaming wise, the only convention that has not canceled yet or postponed is Gen Con. Pretty much everything else has either postponed or canceled. So all eyes are on you, Gen Con. The ball's in your court. What are you going to do?
I have a feeling they're going to see if there's a drop off in the Northern Hemisphere during the summer months.
I mean, they do have...
That's the only way you could have Gen Con.
Right.
That's a severe drop off.
They do have some time. So, because Gen Con, man, words are an interesting thing for me tonight, apparently. Yeah. Because Gen Con is due to start the end of July. So they have time, but they have Thursday, July 30th is the first day of Gen Con. It's July 30th through August 2nd. So I guess they have time, but yeah, I'm assuming they're waiting partly. Probably it has to do I'm sure they have some kind of insurance policy that they have to make sure they cancel in the right way. So I mean, I don't know for sure, but I would assume that is part of the decision.
That and finding where could they possibly, if they rescheduled it,
right?
How will they be able to get the venue? Because since they take over half the city during the convention. Yeah, I'm going to say Gen Con is a special beast in that aspect, because they're going to take over, like you said, they take over pretty much downtown Indy. Right. And you got to remember, we don't know if there's going to be an NFL season this year or not. So that's going to be the question. Is the NFL going to be playing? Then it has to be a week when the Colts aren't playing. Right, exactly. Or at least not home. Because they take over Lucas. So there's that.
So yeah, I don't envy any convention people right now trying to make these decisions about this. Like, do we cancel? Do we postpone? Do we move it? Because I'm sure there's a lot of pieces. I've actually reached out to Gen Con several times, and all I've got from the PR is we have no announcement at this time. I get that standard,
They're heavy in talks.
Right. I get the we'll have an announcement when we have an announcement kind of deal. But I don't envy anybody. But once I saw San Diego Comic-Con canceled, I was like, yeah, Gen Con's got to be next. Which sucks because Gen Con is my favorite convention. I love Gen Con, but I don't see it happening, folks. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Then let's head into our week in gaming. Drac, what did you do last week?
Played some games, maybe? Kind of. I don't know. I didn't do a lot. I had a weird week last week. I did play a little bit tabletop. Played Doctor Who Time of the Daleks. Got my butt kicked twice. That game is really hard.
Ooh, okay. Now, were you playing in what mode were you playing it exactly? Were you trying to, because it's designed as a semi-cooperative game. I know that when I play it, I think I play with two different doctors.
That's what I was doing.
Trying to win with both.
And that's what I was doing. Yeah, I was playing it solo with two doctors, playing it cooperatively as much as I could.
Right.
But yeah, it's just if you don't get that, my only problem with that game is it's very RNG luck with the dice. If you don't get good dice rolls, you're screwed.
Well, I think there are ways of mitigating it, but the problem is that you have such bad luck with dice.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't help much.
Like, my mitigation with the RNG, we all know how well that works out. So I love the game, though. I really love it. It's so fun. But I have yet to win a game, actually. I came close one time. Came very, very close. But stupid Daleks got to there first. So we'll see. Played that. I finished Vampire then. I wasn't sure when that was going to drop off of the Ultimate Game Pass for Xbox, so I wanted to hurry up and finish that. I finished that. That game is amazingly awesome. I love it. Now I want to get it on the PC, and so I can actually have it forever, because, of course, I don't have it anymore since I think it still is on Game Pass, but I think at the end of the month is when it drops off. So I'm gonna look for it to go on sale next time it goes on sale on Steam or something. If I have the money, I think I'm gonna get it because I loved it so much. I want to play it again. And then I guess this is kind of gamey, so we'll talk about this in Weekend Gaming because this is kind of game related ish. I am putting together a Raspberry Pi, and the reason I am putting that together is I want to do retro gaming on it. So I want to play a bunch of old games, and I'm talking like old arcade games, old Atari games, stuff like that. I want to play retro video games on it. So I'm putting together a Raspberry Pi 4. I'm going to be using RetroPie for the OS for it, which of course is built around retro gaming, so hence why I'm going to use that. I have all the parts. I have everything put together. I just can't figure out. There's one thing wrong with it. It's not booting up, and I got to figure out why it's not booting up. It's probably something dumb I did when I put it together. And I know Pine Leap is really confused right now because he probably doesn't know what a Raspberry Pi is.
Well, I know. I have an idea what a Raspberry Pi is because I am a software engineer, so I at least.
Oh, well, that's true. Okay, I did forget about that. Okay, yep. I did forget about, yeah.
So you do hear about things like that, even though I have not put together a Raspberry Pi.
Sure. So we will see, hopefully next week, I will talk about all the cool old retro games I've been playing on my Raspberry Pi after I get it working. And then that's really about it. I can't think of anything else that I did. So how about you, Pine Leaf? What did you do?
All right, I'll begin with what we did together. What we did together, though, was from... Oh my goodness.
Oh, we played ESO, didn't we?
Elder Scrolls Online, yes. Elder Scrolls Online, yes.
I was going to say, what What did we do? Did we do something? I forgot. We played ESO. It was our ESO week, of course.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it's our ESO week. So we did ESO where we headed out, where my Templar and your Necromancer, where we dealt with a usurper. And of course, just because you dealt with the usurper doesn't mean that your troubles are over. Of course not. Yes, of course there's more to do.
And this week in ESO, I was playing the part of Pine Leaf.
It's a part of Pine Leaf.
Because I died a lot this week.
Oh, that's right. You did do that a little bit, didn't you?
I died like, what, 3 times, I think? And usually I don't die that much. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So, it was just kind of funny. The roles were reversed.
Yes. Yeah, so you died a lot, and I don't think I managed to die during that one.
No, you actually didn't die at all. That's why I said our roles were totally reversed because you didn't die at all, and I died. I'm pretty sure I died like 3 times.
Something like that.
I mean, the one time, I'll admit, it was totally my fault because I was not paying attention to my health at all. I don't know why I wasn't paying attention to my health, but the other 2 times it was just I was paying attention to my health and I just couldn't. As a necromancer, I have one skill that actually gets me health back, and I just couldn't get that skill to go off quick enough to actually heal myself enough to where I wouldn't die. So
yeah,
and then the 3rd time a dragon got me. So
I need to learn how to get those healing spells off earlier, I guess.
Yeah, Mr. Templar.
Yes.
It's the whole necro thing. I know. I understand. Yeah. I understand.
Let's then head into what I did with my Gnome Artificer. I created a Gnome Artificer on Orion and ran through the Borderlands. Of course, I started out with the Grotto. When I got through there, it's the first time where I remember actually getting a collar and a docent for my dog at the end. Because usually I didn't think I got one of those things at the end of the Grotto, but I left the Grotto with a collar and a docent for it. Okay, fine. If I could have something on my dog, that's perfect. So
your dog was probably happy.
Yeah, but yeah, my dog was pretty happy. I'm not too sure what kind of emotions a metallic dog could have, but yes. Then I ran through the Borderlands, and when I ran Caged Beast, I think that was the first time I ran the Caged Beast where I found the undead area, because I had completely forgotten or didn't even know that there was an undead area in Caged Beast. But this time I did find the undead area and took care of that for that optional. Then I ran the usual things going all the way through there, and I did not need a healer to this. I think it was just having the ranged weapons with the Artificer just shot through everything in there. I finally found, because I didn't know if I asked you this on the show or when we were just playing together, but I finally found an advantage of light crossbows over heavy crossbows.
No, I don't think we talked about this. What's that?
Well, what we did is I asked you, because I was looking, I think there was one time when we were playing, probably back when I must have been playing an Artificer for whatever we were doing that week, and I was asking you, what's the advantage of a light crossbow over a heavy crossbow? Because since a heavy crossbow obviously does more damage, and you said, no, you didn't know of any advantage. Well, I found one. And that is, a gnome has a racial trait that improves the damage when you're using small weapons, that improves your chances to hit and damage. It so happens that it winds up that a small crossbow winds up doing as much damage as a heavy crossbow in the hands of a gnome. And because of the to-hit bonus, it comes out better overall for a gnome to be using a light crossbow than a heavy.
Oh, okay.
So that's something I discovered during that playthrough, at least as far as I could tell on that. And of course, I finished the whole thing off by playing Total Chaos. So I got all the way through the Borderlands on my gnome. Now, remember I played, I think, the last one or the one before that, where I was playing a human alchemist. Mm-hmm. I said that I might be playing some more with my alchemist for something, and I decided to run it through the current quests that are in the Cerulean Hills. So I ran Weather Smoke and the Captives, did a little stuff out in the outer portions. I did go into the Gatekeeper's Grove to say hi to the one NPC there who's all lonely, waiting for his friends to come back, for all those Gatekeepers to arrive next week, I guess. They're all waiting for that then. But the idea there was to run the current Cerulean Hills, have a look at the new landscape, have a look at the new Grove Keeper's place, and of course, get prepared for the new quests that are going to be there. And then in Minecraft, I ran the Mage Rage for April for the second and third weeks on there. And week number 2 was slow. I got most of the things fairly quickly, but then it was like, where is there a savannah? I couldn't find a savannah for a long time. When there was a change in Mage Rage where they removed the border that they had at the beginning, it had become harder, and it's a lot easier for me to lose orientation. So I still haven't adjusted to when they removed the borders. Now for tabletop, I was running in the latest SoloCon, and this time the theme for SoloCon was to have mechanisms and resources and tie games together through that manner. Now, because of the lockdown and my working from home, my gaming table that I've been using is being converted into an office table. So I didn't have much space in which to be playing games. So when I chose these and trying to get down the list, all right, this mechanism or this resource, this mechanism, this resource. So I had a limited number of games, so I took the easiest option that they offered on doing this, and that was you take mechanisms for this list, next time you take resources from that list, instead of going back and forth there. So first I played Catan, the dice game. Roll and writes feature quite a bit in here because they usually have small footprints. So
I was going to say, shocking.
Right. So Catan now, this was selected for resources because the resources that they had listed for this particular round was wood, sheep, brick. In other words, I saw where they got that list from.
Right, exactly.
Obviously, had a Catan source for all those because they listed all the resources for Catan in there. So I said, okay, fine, I'll play Catan dice game there then. So I played Catan dice game and managed to break my record for my worst attempt. I had a lot of things in there. Then I ran a game of Twin Stars. I ran the adventure called Stop the Virus, and I couldn't stop the virus. It told me then that whatever you do, don't put aliens in charge of the coronavirus. It won't work. Then I played La Granja No Siesta. Now, that one was tricky to fit in because that has a little bit larger footprint than most roll-and writes, but I barely was able to fit that in after some compromises on there. And that was another game where I managed to, I think, break my record for worst try. Then I ran Roll Through the Ages, the Bronze Age, and I think I had another worst game ever for a particular game. So it's like that particular series was just going bad after bad after bad after that. Finally, the next one was on there, was asking for gems for resources, so I decided to play Eon's End. Now, of course, I didn't have room to set up Eon's End, so I played it on the app, and I decided to try taking Zaxos and Mist versus the Prince of Gluttons. And after all this bad luck, I was getting through the first 4 of them. I was saying, oh, how bad is this going to be? And I just steamrolled the Prince of Gluttons on that. Now, I have to admit, I found out right after I started the game that I had it on the easy setting, but I had a lot more than 2 life left on both of my characters on there. So even if I had it on normal setting, I think I was still have steamrolled Prince of Gluttons on there. So I had no problem on that one. So at least I got 1 out of 5. That was a victory. Then I played on the second round, going in the opposite direction I did on the first round. I started out with 1 deck dungeon, where I decided to try the rogue and the warrior against the dragon. Now I went into there on turn 2. I thought, hey, how bad could this monster be? Whack! So I lost in 2 turns. I think that was the fastest loss I ever had in 1 deck dungeon. When I said that, I said, no, I could not. That was just so quick and brutal. I could not report that as a game played. So I decided, all right, I'll play a second one. Maybe at least I'll make it to the second floor. And then it was the best win I ever had against a dragon. And I had none of the perks you get from the campaign because one of the characters had never been used before, and the other one did not go far enough in their previous run of something to get any perks. And I got none from the first attempt because I died so fast. So I think it's the first time I killed the dragon without any campaign perks. So I just went in there, just blew through it. I don't think I had any damage when I hit the boss fight, and it was when and I thought playing with 2 characters was going to be particularly tough because I think that's only the second time I ever attempted to play with 2 characters, because usually I just play with 1. Because the game was designed originally around 1 character. One attempt, complete failure. Second attempt, a win. Next, I tried 11s for 1, and I went back to my pattern. Actually, this wasn't a complete thorough loss in there because I missed the win by 1 minute. So we did have that. Then I decided to play Sagrada. I decided to play Sagrada on the app because the app had just released. And what they decided to do is have a little mini campaign in there where you start with the lower stained glass windows and you could build up along the way. So I took on the first stained glass window in there and I won that one. But of course, that was the first window, and in the campaign, the first few are against easier opponents anyway. So that probably not a major one in there. After that, I had a few days off trying to figure out what to play next because I had to be able to get something in there. And eventually, as I was thinking of what to play in there, I was thinking of playing the app of Spirit Island because the app just went into early access. And I thought, all right, let's try Spirit Island. The trouble is that Spirit Island, I haven't quite gotten a full hold on how to play it properly yet. So I was, let's see, do I really want to play this here? And just as I was getting ready to say, all right, I'm going to go and play this round of Spirit Island, that's when the publishers of Carcassonne, after all these years, finally released an official solo variant. An official solo variant for Carcassonne. So I thought, okay, I will try this. So I tried that, and but unfortunately, the original game, I can't find my copy of the original game right now, and it did not fit any of the resources I needed. So I decided to try Hunters and Gatherers because that had rivers in it, and rivers are a resource. So therefore, the rivers are a resource, and water was one of the potential resources. So I decided, all right, I'll play Hunters and Gatherers, and adopted the solo rules for that. And my first attempt at playing the solo game, obviously. So I ran out of meeples, and if you run out of meeples on one of the colors that you are working with, then the game ends immediately. So obviously, you're going to have a much lower score there. So that's something I have to learn how to get that better. Maybe I could find my copy of the base game and play it down that way. And then finally, I finished this off with Burgle Bros. It's been a while since I played Burgle Bros. It looks like it's been a few years since then. Burgle Bros takes up a great deal of space, but I found that apparently a couple of years ago, I bought the app and never got around to playing it. So I brought out the app and played Burgle Bros. I played Raven doing the office job. And I went to the office job because I figured it's been a few years since I played, so I'm probably very rusty in it. I think I'm ready for the next one. Yeah, I think I did pretty well in there. Either I play Raven very well, or the office job is just a little bit. The difference between the office job and the bank job is the office job is only 2 levels. The bank job is 3 levels. So that's why the bank job is tougher and that the office job is considered to be the beginner level. But overall, I managed to work Raven pretty well. I found an invisibility suit just at the right time so I could use it to get by the guard, and I managed to just get out and win there. And that is what I did last week. We currently have 13 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to help support DDO Players, you could simply go to the donations page. You could support Players Alliance on Patreon. We will use this money for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would prefer to just donate without going through Patreon, you could send the money to Drac at DDO Players. No, Drac at DDOplayers.com. We did not actually, we do have an email this week. Oh,
we do.
Ooh,
it's been a while since we've had an email.
Yes, and what does Kirko say in his email?
He entitled the email, RNG is taunting me.
Uh-oh.
Good day, Pine Leaf and Draculetta. I recently reincarnated Kirkos and have been working my way to level 6 today. I haven't pulled a stat tome in well over a year, more likely close to just before Ravenloft was released. In the last 3 days, I've pulled stat tomes, plus 1 stat tomes, but I haven't a character that can use any of them. Went to Korthos and gave them to new players. Well, that was nice of you just to hand them out. Nifty to pull tomes, not so nifty that they were plus 1s.
If you would like to also send us an email, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Dracula at Dracula_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And you can follow Drac on Twitch at Draculetta_72. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Mondays at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have Electro Players News. You can choice for our shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to socialize responsibly.
This episode of DDO Players News was brought to you by our friends over at the Easy Roller Dice Company. Don't forget to check out the Elite Metal Dice of the Elven Kind Kickstarter that is going on now. 7 and 11 piece sets are available. This is a new series of high-end precision CNC aluminum dice featuring unique color blends and, of course, that hand-drawn brand new Elven Kind font. You have several colors to choose from and a new color waiting to be unlocked at $24,000. The powder blue Elven Kind dice will unlock. Check out the Kickstarter now, easyrollerdice.com/DDO. And thanks for the Easy Roller Dice Company for bringing you this episode of DDO Players News.